Hello, welcome to Level Change channel. My name is Claudio Fonseca. I'm a real world pilot, and today we are going to use FSiPanel to take off from Bremen runway 27. We are using Ryanair livery on the 737-800 from PMDG, and this is a training scenario developed by Blackbox 711. And I read the notes. We are going to have hydraulic failure. I'm going to deal with this hydraulic failure. Have in mind that I'm flying this in my home simulator, so I will be flying alone. This plane is developed and I'm trained to fly this plane with both pilots, so captain and first officer, and of course with only one pilot the things are going to run a little bit slower than in real life. But this is good for you because you will follow me through all the steps necessary to comply with the the hydraulic malfunction and the handling to take this airplane back to the ground. Okay, so while I do the procedures using the 737 QRH, I'm going to show on the screen something that you can see now on your right side, on the right side of this screen, which is the 737 quick reference handbook. Okay, you can find this document online on the internet. Just type in Google 737 QRH and you'll find something like this, very similar, or even this document itself. And this document is going to help us to deal with all the failures and malfunctions that we are going to have in this flight. Okay, so for you to follow me through all these procedures, I'm going to go inside the airplane. I'm going to remove my webcam. I'm going to remove the guide for now. I'm going to give you also the simulator audio. And what we are going to do today is the AirLAD 3 Zulu departure. We have initial climb clearance 4,000 feet. At 500 feet we are going to turn left in heading 198 to intercept radial 311 from November India Echo VOR, and on this radial we intercept Bremen radial 161 to go outbound inbound AirLAD. Initial climb clearance is 4,000 feet. But to comply with all the initial restrictions that we have here, FSiPanel already set for us here on the takeoff page number 2, acceleration height of 3,000 feet, and we are going to comply with all of this. Okay, so basically we have 4,000 feet as altitude, initial altitude. LNAV, VNAV is armed, and we are ready to go. Okay, so I'm just want to check. Yeah, we have tower frequency, and let's fly this 737-800 from Bremen, initially designed to go to Frankfurt. We have 6,300 kilograms of fuel on board, so let's tell tower we are ready for departure.
Good morning, windmill 711. Wind 270 degrees at 25, gusting 30, runway 27, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 27, clear for takeoff, windmill 711. So windmill 711 is our call sign for today. So brakes released, 40% N1. And we can press toga, takeoff, N1 toga. Checked.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. LNAV. And with 400 feet we can engage autopilot. VNAV speed. command. So we'll be flying now. N1, heading to the left. We don't need this data here, and we don't need station.
Windmill 711. Contact departure 124.8. Bye bye.
Departure 124.8, windmill 711. Bye bye. One two four decimal eight. Departure, hello, windmill 711 3000 Elzer 3 Zulu departure.
Windmill 711, radar contact. Continue climb flight level 120.
Continue climb flight level 120, windmill 711. Okay, so 120, and we can select flaps 1 and flaps up. And there we go. 120 is our clearance now. 250 knots, flap up, no light, so we can do after takeoff checklist, which stands for engine bleeds on, PAX auto, landing gear is up and off, flap up, no light, after takeoff checklist is complete. So here we go, climbing out of Bremen towards Frankfurt. 5,000 feet is transition altitude. We set standard on the altimeters. Master caution, hydraulic. Let's check what is our problem. We have one low pressure on the engine, engine number 1, system A, engine pump. Okay, so we can ask for engine, hydraulic engine, low pressure. Okay, so I'm going to take the guide here on the screen for you, and you are going to follow me through. So we can go to, yeah, no normal, and then we can go to hydraulics. Hydraulic is here. Hydraulic pump, low pressure. That's what we have. Hydraulic pump, low pressure. Okay, so hydraulic pump low pressure says that condition, the hydraulic pump pressure is low. Hydraulic pump switch on the affected side off. There is a note, loss of engine driven hydraulic pump, which is the case.
Copy emergency. Hanover address is available on 123.45. Stand by for further instructions.
Roger, windmill 711. At this stage, I was not going to declare any emergency because we only have one pump. Okay, it says that engine driven hydraulic pump and a high demand on system may result in intermittent illumination of the low pressure for the remaining electrical motor driven hydraulic pump. Okay, and then this states that the checklist is complete. So basically what we have to do is to come here and take this pump to off. Okay, so there is no emergency so far. I don't know why the FSiPanel is declaring an emergency. We do have the option to check here now after everything is done, curage is complete, to check our hydraulic system. Okay, so quantity is 40, but we still have pressure, so we may have a leak, we may not have a leak. It depends on how much hydraulic was trapped in the system. So this is not something that we are going to assume for now. As the pressure is good, we consider that the system is working. Okay, so we just crossed 10,000 feet, system still working. I will not declare emergency. Okay, I would continue the flight like this so far. Okay, we passed 10,000 feet. We can take our landing and turn off lights off, taxi light off. and I'm going to release the passenger. As well, we may have some turbulence, but right now it's okay. If we need, we turn on again. So they told us to check 80s on the other side. 123.45 is the frequency for the 80s in Hanover. I think they want us to divert to Hanover. I don't see the reason to divert right now, but we can check how is the 80s in Hanover just in case.
Windmill 711. Copied your intention to divert to Hanover. Fly heading 090.
Heading 090, windmill 711. So I didn't really like the training scenario, to be honest, because we have now to fly heading 090, but I was not going to divert to Hanover for this situation right now. Okay, we still have pressure on the hydraulic system. Okay, so I don't think it's a big issue so far. I know at some point we are going to see low pressure because the electric hydraulic pump is not capable of dealing with the entire system, but we can do things low and that will be no major issues. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And something is going on because we cannot hear to the 80s. 1, 2, 3.45 and COM2. We cannot hear to the 80s. We were supposed to hear the 80s, so another glitch here on the system. But he already said that we are going to Hanover, as we were requesting Hanover, so we have to come here and change our destination to Echo Delta Delta Victor. Okay, as we are flying heading south, there is no issue so far. And departure and arrival, I'm going to select ILS. Let's check which ILS in Hanover. We don't know the 80s, but I'm going to guess by the procedure itself. Echo Delta Delta Victor. Approach. As we departed runway 26, I will consider that is also on runway 27 there, or something like this, 26 or 27, something that I'm guessing because the 80s is not working. So the longest runway is 27 right, so I'm going to take an approach to 27 right. We even have this one that goes Cat 2 and Cat 3. I don't think is really necessary. No, so runway 27, I'm sorry, 27 right. Okay, 27 right, so I'm going to take ILS Zulu. Let me see, this is the Zulu, this is ILS.
Windmill 711. Contact Bremen radar 131.330.
131.330, windmill 711. So let's see now, 131.330. And Hanover, hello, windmill 711 on the heading 090, flight level 120.
Windmill 711, identified, descend flight level 100, fly direct Charlie Echo Lima and hold as published, expect ILS 27 right.
100, direct to Charlie Echo Lima and expecting 27 right, we hold over Charlie Echo Lima. Windmill 711. So 10,000 feet, I'm going to use vertical speed 750 feet per minute to descend, and we are going to reduce our speed to 250. Now even 500 feet for descent. So Charlie Echo Lima, ILS 27 right. I'll take Yankee 27 right from Charlie Echo Lima, and now we fly
711, descend flight level 70, reduce speed at own convenience.
But level 70, speed our convenience, windmill 711. Okay, so we have to fly. I'm going to take here Charlie Echo Lima before I have any problem with the navigation. So Charlie Echo Lima is there, LNAV is engaged, and we go 7,000 feet. Okay, so one more time I'm going to use departure arrival in Hanover 27 right, transition Charlie Echo Lima, and I don't see Charlie Echo Lima here. Charlie Echo Lima November Bravo, is this the same? Yeah, 0 is the distance, so I can take this as the same one. And the ILS Charlie Echo Lima is 257 inbound right turn, so we are going to hold Charlie Echo Lima 257 inbound right turns. (257). I can execute and then the whole 257. Let me see if there is a distance or if this is by time. Yep, this is by time. So let's see what we have now. Master caution, and this is air conditioning off schedule descent. So off schedule descent, we are going to deal with that in a minute, and we need to go direct to Charlie Echo Lima. Okay, here we go on LNAV, and we are going to reduce our speed to flap up speed. Okay, at this time we were going to take the passengers back to their seat.
Descend 4,000 feet QNH 1009. When ready for the approach, contact Director 119.605. Good day.
4,000 QNH 1009. When ready, Director 119.605. Windmill 711. Okay, so at this stage we are going to descend to 4,000 feet. I really don't see our emergency here. The way that they were doing, I was going to continue with a normal flight. Now we go to the system. We still have pressure on the system, so still okay. Okay, for me it's not a big deal unless there is something wrong with what is happening here. Okay, so at this stage, initially I was going to continue with the flight, but we are not continuing with the flight because they took the decision for us to divert to Hanover. We are diverting to Hanover, so I'm going to talk to the cabin crew, and then I'm going to make a PA to the passenger. So I'm going to come here and call the CSD to the flight deck, CSD to the flight deck, because I want to talk to the cabin crew. So cabin crew is here, and I'm going to tell them now is time 10:38, and we are going to land in Bremen in 15 minutes from now. 15 minutes. It's going to be a normal landing. You do not have to prepare the cabin. After landing, we are going to stop on the runway to assess our situation and most probably taxi to the gate. Please read back. So the flight attendant is telling me that we are going to land in 15 minutes. There's no need to prepare the cabin. It's going to be a normal landing. Most probably stop on the runway for a few minutes and then taxi to the gate. We are diverting to Hanover, by the way. Okay? Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to make a PA to the passengers to tell them what's going on. So I'm coming back here and I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small technical issue. For our safety, we are diverting to Hanover, and we are going to be landing in 15 minutes from now. Once we are on the ground at the gate, I will give you more information about the continuation of your journey towards Frankfurt. Thank you so much. Okay, so we come back and everything is set. We are descending to 4,000 feet. As you can see, lights are already on. and we have to deal with off-schedule descent as well. So checklist again, and then we can go air systems and off-schedule descent. It says off-schedule descent. A descent is started before reaching the planned cruise altitude set in flight altimeter indicator. Choose one. Landing at departure airdrome? No. Not landing at airport of departure? Yes. Flight altitude indicator reset to actual airplane altitude, and that's something that we are going to do right now. So 8,500 we are crossing now, so this is going to be 8,500, and the Bremen altitude is 169, so we are going to land at 150 feet. This is our landing altitude. Okay, so far everything okay. We would be ready for this approach, but I didn't prepare enough. So we have minimums 369 and the ILS is 108.9, final approach course 271. So 369 initially. We come here and we are going to set 369 on minimus. .369, frequency 108.9, 108.9 already there, and 108.9 also set here. Final approach course is 271, so 271 also on both sides. We can increase our rate of descent a little bit. We keep going down on this holding. So now we know the procedure we are going to complete from Charlie Echo Lima, descending 2,500 to intercept a right turn towards the ILS. ILS India Hotel November Whiskey. After landing on runway 27 right, we are expecting to taxi to the terminal, so we are going to vacate left kilo, what it says here, kilo 2. So we are going towards kilo, okay, to join Golf. If we miss, we have kilo itself or Juliet, okay, to go back to the main apron. By the way, I'm going to do my performance, so I'm going to land in Hanover, runway 27 right, condition is wet. I'm going to import everything. Oh, we have to go landing. Echo Delta Delta Victor, runway 27 right, most probably flaps 30. This is the weight. Brake 3 should be enough. In this case, I'm going to use I'm not going to use reverse because the reverse can impact, but the runway is wet. So yeah, we are going to use only one because maybe we do not have the reverse on the left side because of the hydraulic failure. Okay, we are going to import this weather and we are going to calculate. So yeah, brake 3 is more than enough, and with one reverse, so brake 3 is there, minimums are set, approach speed 148, 153. What we have here, 153 is correct. So we have everything set as far as I'm concerned. We are going to do a recall. We have hydraulic, so this hydraulic is low pressure on the engine pump system A. Just to make sure, we can come back here and check for the system. Quantity is 40 and pressure is 3000. Okay, so not a big deal. This is the holding. We may tell ATC we are ready for approach. Yeah, everything is set from my side. 5,000 feet if we complete the turn is enough. Okay, so we change frequency and we tell director we are ready for approach. Hanover director, windmill 711, we are ready for approach. An altimeter.
Roger. Clear by LS 27 right.
1019. Clear ILS 27 right. Windmill 711. Okay, so from this point, I can do descent checklist, which states for pressurization landing altitude 1050 feet, recall checked, auto brake 3, landing data VREF 30 148, minimum value 369, and approach briefing is complete. Approach checklist, altimeter 1019, set and cross checked. We are clear for the approach, so I'm going to fly direct to this fix. Yeah, it's a right turn, makes sense, and we continue on this approach. Okay, this is the first time I don't really agree with the FSiPanel instructions, so I think it was not necessary to divert the flight at this stage, as we still have pressure on the hydraulic system. Everything seems to be working fine. Flaps are on the hydraulic system B, so things that are going to affect our flight in case we lose system A, we can use our QRH to identify. So we can go here and also, if we lose system A, basically we are going to have only one autopilot. We are going to miss 2 flight spoilers. We need manual gear extension. Landing distance will be increased, but we have plenty of runway here. Normal brakes are available, so brakes is not a problem. And the engine thrust reverser for the left side in this case is not going to work. We already considered that. Normal nose wheel steering is inoperative, but we can use alternate nose wheel steering if available, so not a big deal. Okay, and if we have to extend the gear, landing gear lever, we set it to down and then we pull the handles for the landing gear. Okay, no, landing gear first to off. It's already in off, sorry, it's not down, it's off. We pull all of them, the gear handles, and then after 15 seconds we set the gear down. Okay, so not a big problem. So we are clear for this approach. The next altitude is 2,500. 2,500. We are going to extend flaps to 1. Vertical speed 500 feet per minute going down. Reducing speed, flap 1 speed. Heading bug. VSTFO side. Flaps 5. Speed to flaps 5 speed. India Hotel November Whiskey is identified. Localizer correct sensing, glide slope correct sensing. We are clear for approach. We armed approach. Okay, so far so good. Final approach course will be 271. As I'm flying alone, I'm going to preset this one, as this is not going to change. And the missed approach that I miss is
711. Contact tower 120.180. Safe landing.
120.180. Windmill 711. And missed approach is to 3,000 feet initially. Okay, so this is tower. Hanover Tower, hello. Windmill 711, fine approach to 7 right.
Windmill 711, clear to land 27 right, wind 280 degrees at 25 knots. Rescue services at the runway, they will approach you once parking brake is set.
Roger, clear to land to 7 right, and we are going to stay on the runway. Windmill 711. Okay, so we set gear down, flaps to 15. We can maintain this altitude for the glide slope capture. So all fine for now. Altitude hold. The airplane is going to capture the glide slope, so we can extend flaps to 30. Our landing flaps, reduce speed to VREF 153. Glide slope is captured. Missed approach altitude is 3,000 feet. Now on this procedure is 4,000 feet. So 4,000 feet is the missed approach, and there we go. Engine start switches I'm missing from flap 15, and also the speed brake to arm. So landing checklist: engine start switch continuous, speed brake armed, landing gear down 3 green, flaps 30, green light, landing checklist is complete. Okay, so all set for our landing. I was expecting to have a full hydraulic failure, but we still have pressure on the hydraulic system. Something happened here. We didn't have what it was expected as a full hydraulic system A failure. It's raining. It's rainy day. Yeah. It's a rainy day. We are going to use this view here for our landing. As I'm using my laptop, that's how I can do it to see my flight directors. So we are fully stable. We have a 49 knots headwind, so I can even increase my approach speed to plus 10 or 15 in this case, 163. Yeah, 15 is the maximum that we can use for 50 knots is the maximum wind additive that we can use for this approach. With this amount of headwind is more than enough. So for now, the auto throttle is going off. I'm going to control it manually. And I'm expecting to see the runway really short. Okay, now we see approach lights. Okay, let's get used to this wind. So manual flight. Glide director. Descending too much, I'm correcting. Now we keep going towards the runway. 2 and 2 on the puppies.
100.
Speed is very nice.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. We're going to use full reverses. Yep, it worked. Reverse it on the left side. We were conservative in this case, but it worked. It's not even raining on the runway right now. 60 knots. Idle reverse, manual brakes. Okay. I'm going to ignore the photogrammetry for now. So we stop on the runway. We don't need this right now. Parking brake is set. Not really. Now it's set. We can even check our system. Yeah, it's working. We have fire brigade around us. Yeah, we do have the fire brigade. Thank you for your assistance, but something is wrong with this scenario. Okay, I'm going to publish this video anyway, because even though I was expecting a full hydraulic failure.
Scenario is over. Well done. A big thanks to Captain Blackbox 711 for creating it. Cheers, JP.
Okay, so this was not the failure that we were expecting at this stage. Okay, but it worked out. We had so I'm going to give you my webcam again. So we had actually one minor failure. I'm going to give you the QRH again. So basically what we had was, and I will go back there, hydraulic pump low pressure. So this is hydraulic pump low pressure. This is the name of the checklist, hydraulic pump low pressure, and this is confirmed by the low pressure light. This low pressure light, you can even see that is here. Okay, I'm going to go really close it on our overhead panel. Okay, so this is the low pressure light that the guide is referring to, and it says that there is a condition for this light to illuminate, is that the hydraulic pump pressure is low. So we have one procedure to do. The procedure is on number 1, the hydraulic pump switch on the affected side, the one that is affected. Okay, we are going to turn off, and as you can see, it is off because we did the checklist during the flight. Also, there is a note. This note is important. Loss of an engine driven hydraulic pump, which is the case. We lost the engine driven hydraulic pump for the system A, and a high demand on the system. Okay, so if you have this failure and a high demand, this high demand is going to happen when you have multiple things being driven by the hydraulic system, like taking the gear down, or in case of system B, taking the flaps down, or using the reverses, left reverse on system A, right reverse on system B, and so on. So when you have this, it says may. It's not going to happen, but it may happen. Okay, so you need to pay attention. It may result in an intermittent illumination of the low pressure light for the remaining electric motor driven hydraulic pump. So we can have the low pressure flickering and intermittent illumination, which means the low pressure light goes on and off when these moments are happening, because this electric hydraulic pump has no power to provide hydraulic pressure to all these systems all together. So when the system sense pressure low, it's going to pop up. When the demand is dropping, the low pressure light is also going to extinguish, and so on. So it's telling you that you may have more master caution and going on and off while you have this situation, okay? But one very important thing that in this case it says that the checklist is complete. You do not have to land. This is not an emergency or anything, okay? So that's the one that we have. Because we were descending before reaching cruise altitude, we also have the off-schedule descent. Off-schedule descent says that we have the off-schedule descent light illuminated, and there is a condition for it. A descent is started before reaching the planned cruise altitude setting flight altitude indicator. So we had something like 19,000 set there. We started descent before this 19,000, and then it asked us to choose one. Okay, so choose one. What we can do? It says, are we landing at airport of departure? No, this is not the case, because otherwise we were going just to continue normal operation. But what we have is, we are not landing at airport of departure. So it says flight altitude indicator reset to actual airplane altitude, okay? Because from the actual airplane altitude we are going to start our descent towards the alternate airport. And because we are going towards an alternate airport, there is also a supplementary procedure by Boeing for the pilots to change the landing altitude, okay? Even though if you don't remember to do it, when you have the normal checklist for descent, is going to tell you that at some point the pressurization needs to be set to the land altitude, okay? So we did it, and from that time we did the checklist, pressurization, land altitude was set. We did a recall. We still only had one issue. Auto brake we use 3. Landing data we land with flaps 30 and the minimums that were set. And approach briefing was complete. Was just a normal approach, landing to land and stop on the runway, okay? On the approach, altimeters is what we need. This course and ILS frequency is by the operator. I think this is a Chinese operator for this checklist. And then the landing checklist we also comply with. Engine start switch continuous, speed brake armed, landing gear down, and flaps they were 30, green light. So landing checklist was also complete, okay? So this basically concludes our video, our flight for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you understood what happened. So yeah, we had a failure, not a major failure that we were expecting, but it was good enough. So you could see myself dealing with the checklist itself and trying to cope with ATC instructions, okay? So for the FSiPanel I would not declare emergency at that stage. Maybe the failure that it was programmed, it didn't happen, so maybe at that time I will lose the hydraulic, and maybe I will have to declare not an emergency but an urgency, because even if you lose hydraulic system A, you still have technically 3 hydraulic systems. You still have B, and you still have the hydraulic standby for the rudder at least, okay? And it's important to mention, as we are here, I can show you as well, that when we go to non-normal checklist on hydraulic loss of system A, at no point we have the statement here from Boeing that we should land at the nearest suitable airport, okay? So it's the pilot to decide if they are going to continue with the flight or not, and where, okay? It's different from losing both hydraulics, okay? So manual reversion of loss of system A and system B, that it states plan to land at the nearest suitable airport. Okay, so then in this case we were going to be in an emergency. Okay, so for the 7-3, even though we only have 2 main hydraulic systems, we still have one standby system that is going to help us to complete the flight. And for example, as I discussed during the flight, even if you lose one hydraulic system, you will still have autopilot B, so one autopilot will be available. This is not major, but it's something to consider, that you are going to have 2 flight spoilers in operative. The only thing that is going to create to this flight, roll rate and speed brake effectiveness may be reduced in flight. Okay, so we do not have normal landing gear extension, but this is not a problem because manual gear extension is available. Then the ground spoilers, they are in operative, so our landing distance will be increased, but we had enough runway for this landing. And something that it mentions here, normal brakes are available. Okay, so normal brakes are available for this situation. And the same thing with the hydraulic the thrust reverser, engine 1 thrust reverser, normal hydraulic pressure enough. Okay, so you may have, you may not. If you have, thrust reverser will deploy and retract at slower rate, and some thrust asymmetry can be anticipated during thrust reverser deployment. So that's why we already calculate performance with 1 reverse only. Even with the loss of 1 pump, I will do it anyway, because on those times with high demand we may have the same issue even if we are using only 1 pump. Okay, and then another thing, the normal nose wheel steering would be enough, but we just take the nose, the alternate nose wheel steering is available. The only thing that we have to do, and that's described by the checklist, is to set the nose wheel steering switch to the alternate. Okay, so not a big deal. Okay, so I really didn't understand why declaring emergency. I do know that it was expected to be full hydraulic failure, but so I tried to comply with what PMDG gave me today, what ATC also instructed me to go, and I think it was a good training, a good session for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you next time. And I will try to redo this, and if I get a full hydraulic failure, maybe I will record another video about it. Okay, thank you guys so much. Bye bye.